My name is Jim Forde, and I'm a teacher from Stamford, Connecticut. I teach science and technology, and I've come to the conclusion after many, many years of educating that many people have come to, and that's teachers are heroes. And that's very unoriginal as an idea. I think many people believe that. But I started perseverating on this idea of teachers being heroes and started thinking about the fact that many of my colleagues, I don't think were really embracing the idea. And also I was thinking about how young teachers are not being attracted to the teaching profession, and that maybe if they really believed this idea that teachers are heroes, that they might want to join the ranks of the teaching profession. And so I started thinking, what can I do as a veteran teacher to embrace this idea or somehow package this idea? And so I came up with the idea of an audiobook. I call it Teaching a Heroic Journey. And I started looking at ideas about heroes. I stumbled upon the well-worn path of Joseph Campbell's work on heroes and the hero's journey and the arc that he uses or explains, that was used by many, many famous people like Walt Disney and George Lucas and anyone that creates a hero apparently knew about Joseph Campbell, except me. And then I discovered him. So I started putting the two together. So what can I do to think about teachers as heroes and this work of Joseph Campbell? If I believe teachers are heroes, then I must believe that teachers, all teachers, are on a heroic journey. And so I started looking at the stages of a heroic journey. And so in this audiobook I produced, I started breaking out the journey into its parts and thinking about educators. For example, the call to adventure is a first stage. And so how did you get called to education? Is it okay if it wasn't your first choice as a profession? Is it okay that you stumbled in? Is it okay that you dreamt of being a teacher your whole life and then became one? All of those scenarios are okay, and it matches up very well with this archetype hero that was studied by Joseph Campbell. My favorite stage is actually the second stage, which is the refusal of the call, which is where the hero decides, yes, thanks for inviting me on this journey, but no thanks. How many of us had doubts of being a teacher? How many of us almost left the profession? How many of us might be thinking about leaving it now because of the pressures or the things that are going on politically or just the workload as it relates to being a teacher? As a matter of fact, having doubts about being a teacher is a key element of being a hero. And I guess as I move through these steps, the idea of meeting the goddess and the idea of being in the torment of being a hero, the last stage also becomes very significant to me, and that's the idea of coming back to the ordinary world. And what I find is that once you're in a profession like teaching, and this would be true of firefighters and police officers and ER nurses, people that do work that has a context that's hard to understand, is that it's really hard to talk to people about that profession who are not in your field. The only way to really have a real conversation is to find another hero and to sit down with them and talk. And so I guess what I would like to offer is this audiobook that I produced, its analysis of how teachers are heroes. And I would love for it to be shared, particularly with young teachers, so that they can embrace the idea that they're on a journey. It's not always going to be an easy one. It could be convoluted, but it is necessary and it's important, and that they are needed. They are needed by kids and they are needed by our society.